This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, this is Alex, and this is the Ramble. We go till midnight tonight from the East Coast to the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, we go out to California, as we love to do once a week, and talk to somebody who just gets me talking and is, I think...
Because we're two lovable pessimists.
Well, you're one of the brightest people I know. I mean, you really are.
I really feel like my IQ is about room temperature these days.
About room temperature?
Yeah. I really feel like a moron anymore. I think it's getting old. I don't know.
Well, I mean, the things I forget more things than I know. That's my problem. You know, I part of it is some medication I take. But, you know, I hate to talk about this once again, folks, because you've heard enough about it, but I took a fall last week, and my hand has just been killing me. It's taken it a week to even, it's a bit better now. I couldn't lift a cup of coffee, but I can do it now with a little bit of pain. So,
well, thank God you didn't have a break, because the human wrist is the most vulnerable bone to fracture.
But before we started this, you said that. You came up with that factoid. That's why I say you're the smartest person I know, because you have all these little factoids. Where did you find out that the wrist was the most commonly...
I heard that actually at a trivia contest years ago. Somebody said, the question was, what's the most fractured bone? And I thought, well, it might be a tooth, but it turns out it's the wrist.
Really?
And it's because when people fall, you throw your arm out to kind of catch yourself, and the wrist is pretty thin, and that goes.
Yeah, but I didn't break the wrist. The wrist is fine. Wrist doesn't even hurt. It's like the area between my thumb and my first finger there, you know, that little flat part is really, it hurts constantly, you know.
As you get older, falls are terrifying.
Well, I mean, I didn't think so, but I guess so, you know. I hit my face at a certain point because it hurts. Yeah, your face is hurting me too. Yeah, right. But you know, it's. But I don't have a black and blue mark there. But apparently, I fell, and I think what I did is my lip kind of hit the front of my mouth, and then I got a cut on the inside. But I can't figure out how I got all these bruises. But I think my hand may have impeded it, because my hand is what I use to stop the fall. And said,
you just throw your hand out instinctively. And
somebody says that when you fall, you should roll or something, tuck and roll.
Yeah, because I fall like once or twice a year when I'm running, and I always throw my hand out and bang that up. But supposedly there is a way, when you start to fall, you can kind of turn and you land on your side, and you'll get hurt less.
Yeah, well, what happens with you when you fall? Because what happened with me was I was wearing my Skechers, okay, and I was walking, and I guess I kind of tripped over the front of it or something, because I guess when you're older, you don't pick up your feet as much.
No, you don't. You don't lift them as high.
You know, so sometimes you're shuffling, and then I shuffle, and then it gets caught on something like just even a slight ridge in the concrete, and down you go, you know.
It takes if you're moving forward, if you just hit your foot a little, that'll knock you down. So.
Well, the first thing two people helped me up. You know, oh, there, old man. Let's help the old man who just, you know, acted like an old man does and fell, and you know, and they were there to help me. Very nice. Every time I've ever fallen, there's somebody there who's willing to help. You know, people are good that way. But anyway, they said, oh, I think you lost a tooth. And they picked it up, and it was my earpiece from my... And I'm going, I lost a tooth? Yeah, well, that doesn't look like a tooth, you know.
That's hilarious. I lost it.
No, my teeth are fine, but somehow I hit the lip, and the lip has just been, it's still swollen to this day, It's not infected or anything, but, it's just what was the point I was trying to make? About
I don't know, fractured bones and
yeah, fracture. So the fracture on the wrist. The wrist is the most broken.
yeah.
Wow. Well, that seems to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I have always been blessed with non-brittle bones. Marjorie has brittle bones. I don't have brittle bones because I've taken falls which should have broken something, and it didn't.
Yeah, mine. My bones are fairly brittle. So.
Oh, really? Well, that's because
I've got osteopenia, which is the precursor of osteoporosis.
Osteopenis? What is that?
It's the precursor of osteoporosis.
Oh, I see.
And they theorize because I drink so much Diet Coke that sucks the calcium out of your body.
Really? I stopped doing Diet Coke a couple of years ago.
Really?
Well, I found that there's seltzer with flavors. Okay, so I started doing the seltzer with flavors and also Snapple, and I used to suck Diet Coke down like crazy.
Yeah, I remember that, and you were able to get off that. It's very addictive.
No, it's not. All I wanted was the refreshment. I don't think I ever had a problem getting off of it. Maybe I did, and I didn't know it. But anyway, so now all I drink in the house, I've got a couple of cases of Diet Coke. Want me to send them to you?
Yeah.
That I'm probably never going to use, because I really have gotten into this seltzer, which is, seltzer is water, no matter what. And if you add flavor to it, it doesn't change the fact that it's water. All right? So the seltzer is very good for you. So I'm drinking water all day long.
Well, much better than Diet Coke, yeah.
Yeah. Diet Coke, I think, can dry you up. It has caffeine in it and things like that.
Yeah, it's poison, yeah.
Well, I have a seltzer here that has caffeine in it. But that
might help, yeah.
I only drink that once a day, like in the evening or something, to give me a little zest, But anyway, so
sometimes I would drink Coke. I'd mix regular Coke with Diet Coke, and someone said, "Yeah, you're getting the chemicals and the sugar, ensuring diabetes and cancer."
Oh, okay, okay. I don't know. Has anybody shown a correlation between cancer and Diet Coke? No, I don't think so.
Well, I was at my doctor's a couple of months ago. The dermatologist, she said, "Well, you're doing pretty good." I said, "I'm drinking gallons of Diet Coke." And she goes, "Oh, that causes bladder cancer." That kind of freaked me out.
Well, everything causes cancer, Living causes cancer.
True.
I mean, I got prostate cancer. It was very minor prostate cancer, but it was a prostate cancer nonetheless. I'm going to get tested again the next couple of days to see that I'm okay and that it hasn't, come back in any level. And but I think it'll be okay. But I mean, it's still, even though it was a minor kind of cancer, it was. If you get prostate cancer at 80, it's not the same as if you get it at 60.
Right. You know who just died of prostate cancer was William Hurt.
Mm-hmm.
71.
And the question is, how?
How did he not catch it? Yeah.
How did he not catch it? Exactly.
Yeah.
Because usually, starting about age 50, doctors do a blood test every year on you and check for your PSA, and that's an indicator of some sort that you might have prostate cancer. And so when I hear about somebody dying of prostate cancer, I mean, the reason I had my procedure was because they caught it early. They caught it in its beginning stages. I think I had one slight lobe down there that had a tinge of prostate cancer, and they were able to go get it. And that would have been the case with William Hurt, I would imagine. But the thing was, he was earlier on. He's 71, which means he had to have it around 65 or something like that. When you get it at that age, it's far more pernicious than it is when you're at 80. If you live long enough, Bubbles,
You'll get it.
you'll get prostate cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the question is whether it's going to kill you or not. And the point is that probably it won't. You know, I mean, my doctors have said, hey, look, if this just kept going, probably something else would have gotten you before the prostate cancer we did. You know.
Uh-huh.
Because at my age, it's very slow growing, I imagine. Knock on wood, I hope. I haven't been tested in 9 months now. I have to go get my test. But it you know, a lot of these diseases are preventable if people are just constantly checked. The trouble is, you know, men are not very good at going to doctors. Do you find that you have a regular regimen of going to the doctors?
I try to avoid them. I'm just afraid of what they're going to find.
See?
Yeah.
Now, on the other hand, take my wife. To her, going to a doctor is her only
Women love the doctor.
it's
Yeah.
social occasion.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, you know. And you go, why are guys so anti-doctor and women are so pro-doctor? That's what I've never been able to figure out. You would think on a level of 1 to 10, the person who would be most afraid of a doctor would be a woman. You know, because they're much more fragile and all of that. But guys don't want to hear from doctors. They go to see the doctor when something hurts, and by the time it hurts, it may be untreatable.
It's too late.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, who else? Frank Zappa died of prostate cancer, right?
I don't know. I really don't know.
And I think he was in his 50s.
Yeah, but it is at once the most don't want to say the most deadly, but it's the one that claims the most victims, males, just about the most every year.
Oh, really? Wow.
And yet it is the most preventable. You know, if you just are on top of it from age 50, and now they're suggesting 45. I mean, let me ask you, when was the last time you had a PSA test?
I think they do it in the regular blood panel, so I don't even check to see what the number. Well, of course, if they're bad, they tell you. But
Yeah.
so I get a blood test once a year. So
Do you know what a PSA is?
yeah,
Oh, okay. All right.
I think I think under 5. That's a good number, right?
No, under 4.
Under 4. Okay.
Yeah, prostate-specific antigen. It's not a very good test. It's only an indicator something might be going on, and that they should test further for it. And I had a very good urologist. He said, I don't like to do biopsies unless I absolutely have to. He said, because people are afraid of them. And I liked him for that. And finally he said, I got some results back, and I think we better do a biopsy. And he did the biopsy, and he found the cancer, and it was just one small amount and a little bit of the prostate. And he sent me to this doctor who did seed implants and radiation and so on. So I had the radiation and the seed implants. So I had a double whammy of this. Like, we're going to bludgeon this thing to death. And I was good to go. I did tell you that the guy who did my prostate seeds was the guy who did Rudy Giuliani's.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've never mentioned it to him. I never mentioned it to him. I just said, oh, I've heard of you. That was my, but, there was a point at which I was going to say, couldn't you have just not done the seeds on Rudy Giuliani and done us all a favor? But Rudy Giuliani's still alive. Thank God, But then again, when you drink the blood of your daughters, it's got to be life-saving, life-affirming. But no, so I mean, men just don't like to go to doctors,
because we know we're going to get bad news. We don't want to hear it.
Well, I have a doctor I see once a year. and he's okay. But I've always had. This is something, folks. I don't know if we want to talk about this, but I have had blood in my urine, trace of blood in my urine. I have had this for, if I had to say it, to my knowledge, for the last 20 years. Okay? Pretty regularly. Very seldom do they ever do a urine sample. And I keep telling my doctor, don't worry about it. I have this all the time. And it's coming from somewhere, but it's not anything dangerous. Okay? I'm still alive 20 years later. But I had this one doctor who liked to do cystoscopies on me every time he found it. And I went, Jesus, can you find another way to make a living? You know.
That sounds painful.
It's not painful. It's just annoying, you know. And one of the times he did it, he got me infected, and I had to have antibiotics to do away with the infection.
Jesus.
Yeah. So anyway, I just, you know, I've always had this blood in my urine. It's a constant. And he knew that, but he still said, you better go see your urologist. Well, you know, I told my urologist when he was testing my urine, you probably find blood in there and one time they didn't find blood in there, you know, for some reason or another. But it's just a trace of blood. It's not like you can see it physically.
It's got to be coming from somewhere.
But he goes panicky. You got to go see better tell your urologist about this. We better take another urine test. I said, don't you have it in your notes, you know those copious notes you take that says, hey, he always has blood in his urine?
And that's always reassuring when the doctor sounds panicked, right?
It could come from my kidneys, is where I'm thinking, you know. But anyway, so
sometimes that's the start of a kidney stone, a little blood, and then
yeah.
If the stone's small enough, you'll pass it and not know it. So maybe that was that.
I mean, it could be for my prostate. Who knows? I have no idea. But it's just one thing after another. But then the urologist is the one guy I can't stand. But in my case, I found a good urologist I can stand because he is so reassuring and he doesn't do stuff he doesn't have to do, you know, and that's good. He saved my life, all right, that's for starters, and he did it without panic. I mean, I went through this whole thing dealing with the cancer very easily. Marjorie said, I can't believe it, you're the biggest hypochondriac in the world, you get cancer and you just float right through it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
you got more upset over smaller things.
Oh, I everything else is. Look at this thing on my finger. You think it's cancer? You know, I drive my wife nuts with this stuff. But you know, that thing didn't. For some reason, I just went. It's being taken care of. You know, in fact, I looked at my oncologist in our first meeting, and I said, "So is this the thing that's going to kill me?" And he looked at me with this quizzical look on his face and went, "No." So that kind of that was reassurance for me, you know, that he found that I was being an idiot for asking, "Is this what's going to kill me?" You know. So. But every morning, you know, at 82, did you know me as a hypochondriac?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I was that way back when. And as you get older, whatever traits you have get worse. They amplify themselves. Okay? So it's like I wake up at 82 every morning and go, what is it that's going to kill me? You know, I just feel like there's the Grim Reaper behind my back with his scythe, just kind of waiting, tapping his toe. Mm-hmm. You know, come on, old man, get something. Come on. What can we throw at you? Okay. You know, I mean, my heart has been tested. It's fine. If we took care of the prostate cancer, I think probably, knock on wood, my prostate is fine. Let me see. What else is there to get me? Oh, my kidneys. I have mild kidney dysfunction. But then again, I think as you get older, your kidneys start to go. You know,
everything starts to go.
Oh, everything starts to go. I mean, you know, the good Lord didn't put a expiration date on stuff, you know. But I mean, look, I'm 82. I've lived this long. That's pretty good.
That's amazing.
What do you mean it's amazing? It's not amazing. Tell me that when I'm 95. Amazing is reserved for 95.
Well, 100 years ago, the average death age was 47. So.
Was it 47?
Yeah, 1900 was 47.
1947, and now it's what?
It's 80. It's over 80 per.
I thought
American.
I thought it was 70 something. I thought it was still like 78 or something for women and 70.
Women are over 80 in America.
Yeah.
Men are like high 70s.
Why is that?
Well, medicine's got better. I guess we take better care of ourselves.
Yeah. And maybe it's the women that kill us.
Yeah, women are killing us.
Oh, well, folks, I've just been, the Me Too movement will now be boycotting this program because I've made a joke about women.
That got to be shut down.
Well, no, but I mean, the thing is that I think the reason, I'll tell you the reason I think men die younger. Men bear the brunt of the psychological imperative that they have to take care of their family. They're the ones that have to work themselves to death.
Oh, very stressful.
Now, and you say, well, no, women now can bear that burden too, but they don't. It's still a world in which the guy goes to work and brings home the food and stuff for the, you know, it's a agrarian system. See if you can follow me on this one. It's an agrarian system. Remember the time when you had a farm, and what was Mom's job?
Mom was to cook and
basically she took care. Her dominion.
take care of the kids.
Her dominion was the house. Okay, she took care of the house. And what did Dad do?
Dad brought the food in.
He took care of the what they were growing, or what was the product of the farm. He took care of the farm, as it were. Okay, now we come to today. It's not much different. Women stay at home, a lot of them, and cook and raise the kids and do that sort of thing. And Dad goes off to work and does whatever he does to bring home money to take care of the family. Now, you say, well, a lot of that has changed. Women are in the workforce and so on. Yes, that's true. But it still hasn't changed that terrifically that it doesn't, say, take a toll on the lives of men. So, you know. Call me old-fashioned, but I think that a lot of women, once they have kids, would prefer to stay home and raise those children because they have a maternal instinct, which, by the way, is natural to women, but a paternal instinct is not natural to men.
I think you're right.
Yeah. And I always used to get heat for saying that, but it's true. We are the only animal on the planet that doesn't have... Well, to begin with, we don't even have a natural maternal instinct. But women do feel the need to be maternal because of what they've been taught by their mothers and so on and so forth. Boys haven't. Guys haven't. So
yes, we never had any desire to have children.
Yeah. And so, you know, I think that the Me Too movement's a wonderful thing, but where they're screwed is they don't take into consideration human nature and the facts of nature. You know, boy, this phone it doesn't stop ringing on my wrist here. I should have turned it off.
Could be the air conditioner.
No, I don't think that was the air conditioner. It was some zip code that was far, far away. So, what the hell? Anyway, so anything new with you, Larry, as we have about a minute left here? Anything?
No.
Well,
maybe I'll get paternal feelings now.
I'll do this like we always do it, like we used to do on radio. So where are you playing, Larry?
I'll be playing at the Chuckle Hut in Fremont.
The Chuckle Hut? Uncle Funny's Chuckle Hut? Yeah.
Speaking of which, our old friend, Tommy T had triple bypass surgery.
Wow. He's still alive?
Still alive, yes.
Triple bypass surgery.
He made it through the surgery, but that's pretty brutal.
Yeah, it is pretty brutal. Tommy T owned a comedy club, or several of them, actually.
Yes, the
main one was in San Leandro, if I remember correctly.
It was San Leandro, then it was Newark, then it was Pleasant, and I used to say the classic migratory pattern of someone trying to avoid child support.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's our old pal, Larry Bubbles Brown. Larry, always a pleasure to talk with you.
A pleasure to talk about our pessimistic viewpoints.
Everybody feels better about life after listening to Alex and Bubs. Thanks.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, you, Bubsy.
This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Yeah, okay. Oh, let me turn on my lights. There we go. Now we're ready to go. See, I just turned on the lights. You may notice nothing changes in the background when I turn on the lights, but that's because it's a phony background. I love demystifying what we do here. What is it we do here? I haven't figured out what we do here. Neither is the audience who listens to me. But I just keep doing this for the few people left who even care who Alex Bennett is, okay? And I don't live with any, how can I call it, any illusions that anybody really wants to listen to this program anymore, because the numbers are pretty low lately. And the amount of callers that are calling is less than it probably should be. And I've often thought about, maybe it's time to pack it in. Last night, after the show is over here, I do what I call posting the shows, okay, and I put them up so that you get them on the gabnet.net page, and so you can get them on iTunes, and you can get them on all the other places that our show is posted to, and I have to do a whole bunch of stuff with that. And there was one process that I got to that I do every night, okay? And I got to it, and all of a sudden I froze up. I couldn't figure out how to do it. And it was a thing that puts the audio on for the on-demand, among other things. And I was just going, how do I do that? Where do I go? I couldn't remember how to do it. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I am just starting to forget stuff, and it made me feel very old, and it made me feel very doddering, and I kept saying to myself, maybe it's time to cash it in, not because this isn't working. I could just do this for the hell of it, what the hell, no big deal. But I just was thinking, I often said to people, let me know when I no longer have it so I don't stay longer at the fair than I should, And I think the smart people in this business are the people who quit at a time when they feel they no longer have what could I call it, their chops, okay? Please tell me, because I'll be happy to just say that's it and cash it in. I don't want to stick around where people listen to me and they go, boy, he used to be really good, but he's terrible now. He sucks. In fact, I have a thing here. It's called a poll, all right? And wait a minute, I can go over to the chat room here. Hold on a second. Here, I can put in a poll. Let me see here. Oh, the question should be, should I quit? Should I give up? Okay, I think that's the best way to put it. Okay, question, and then you can go yes or no. See, so it says ask your community, and the community is now, I guess, has that question up there. Yeah. So you can go on there on the chat room and you can vote yes or you can vote no. There's no maybe there. Anyway, I think it's time for us to check in with our citizen panel. We have a few more than usual to start out with tonight. So, there they are. Yes, there's Josh Wheeler, and there's let's see here. There's Kevin. He's leaning over there, and there's Jeff, and of course Alan. Hello to all of you this evening. How are you?
Good.
Good. Yeah, well, you sound excited.
I talked to Phil earlier, and he said he might join us.
Yeah, it'd be nice if he joined us. You know what he suggested today is April Fool, as you know.
Yes.
And he suggested that I go on the air and announce that this is the last Ramble. Over there. And I don't do that. Yeah. Somebody's got their speaker up. Is it you, Jeff?
I'm okay.
Are you?
Kevin's thing keeps flashing.
Kevin's thing keeps flashing? Yeah, that'd be nice. See, somebody's got it. Somebody's got it on. Let me see here. I don't know which one it is. I can't.
It's me. I'm just, my batteries went dead on my mouse. Bear with me a second.
Okay, your batteries went dead on your mouse. Yeah. Anyway,
I find the batteries come out of the mouse real quick if you throw it against the wall.
Yeah. It's a good time to replace them is when they fall out of it. Anyway, but anyway, Phil suggested that tonight I say this is the last Ramble, and then at the end of the show I go, April Fool, right? Well, I did that one year in San Francisco, and it took me 6 months to get my audience back.
I remember that.
Yeah. All of a sudden, the ratings are, because everybody, this is his last show. Oh, I'm not going to tune in. And they never heard it resolve itself, for me to say, well, or I was going to do it the next day, say April Fool, but. So I lost an audience for quite a while. So I learned my lesson that you don't do that kind of prank. But I did go into Marjorie today while she was on the phone to a friend of hers, and I said, the news it just came across. I said, what? Donald Trump's dead. And she went, what? And I went, April Fool. Oh, you got me.
It's too bad she didn't push you out of the way and head for the champagne cellar.
Yes, right. That's okay. Yeah. So we had the super in today for about 2 hours. I threw him a couple $100 and had him install an air conditioner for me, and a ceiling fan with a light on it in the dining room, and also unplug a sink, which has been backing up a lot. And he went down there, and I think he pulled out small animals, if I'm not mistaken. So that was our day. And this was the first day what Marjorie calls her retirement, and all day she was on the phone trying to get everybody their paychecks because somehow something had gone wrong with getting them their paychecks. So her first day of her retirement isn't exactly retirement. So, so she spent all day on that. Wasn't anything that was her fault. It was that this is the time of year where they all get their bonuses, so the amount of money that was being taken out to pay them was more than it usually is, and the company that issues the paychecks wouldn't accept it unless there was a wire of money and things like it. Was a whole complicated deal. But her first day off, they had her back at work again. So much for being able to live without her. What?
Isn't this for a bank?
Yeah.
So a bank had trouble properly transferring money?
Well, no, this wasn't it. It's a company called Paychecks or something that does all the check writing. But the money is also in China. So it has to go to them because Marjorie used to have the money here and take it, I think, out of accounts here. But the reason part of her job was done away with, about 3/4 of it, was because they decided to start doing the accounting in Hong Kong. Well,
you have to launder it first.
You got to launder it first. Exactly.
Good.
Yeah. So how are you?
Yeah, no, my company, they do all their accounts payable and accounts receivable in Kuala Lumpur, and it's like,
why do they do it in Kuala Lumpur? To begin with, they're an American company, aren't they?
Well, they're worldwide. I mean, they're in like 80 countries or whatever.
Which
but
company?
I don't know. And then anytime there's a problem, they'll email you in the middle of the night, and then you go to work and you find it, and then you email. You know what I mean? It's just I don't.
Wait a minute. But wait a minute. What's your company again? Which one?
I work for Sherwin-Williams.
Oh well, then it's okay then because they cover the world.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Do they still?
Yeah,
have
they're. I mean,
they still have that.
They just have a division over there that instead of doing it out of the regular corporate headquarters, I don't know why they moved all that to Kuala Lumpur a couple of years ago, and
wow,
you just you get emails.
Is their slogan still "We cover the world"?
Yeah, they still have that logo or whatever.
There was a picture of a bucket of paint,
Yeah.
slopping paint over the globe.
That's right.
And then it said, "We cover the world." Yeah. So I guess they've always been an international company, right?
Yeah, for a long time. Yeah, really long time. Yeah.
Excuse me, I've been sneezing tonight and having cold kind of symptoms, and I think it was from this. Have you had any?
Me too.
Really?
Yep. I even did the COVID test last night and tonight. Nope, nothing.
Well, of course not. You had the booster, right?
Yep, sure did.
Yeah, so you don't need to test yourself. Have you
The
had
booster takes more than a day to go to work though, because it's 2 days ago I got the booster. So.
You got your second booster, right, Phil?
Yeah.
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 Like usual, Secretary Allen let him know.
Yeah.
And did you get? Do you feel like you have a cold or anything, or?
No, no reaction this time.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good. I wanted to get on tonight because I wanted to be on the last Ramble, but you're a killjoy.
Well, no, I did that once, and it did not work out well for me.
I heard you say.
It did not work out well.
That's when you had an audience. Now maybe you'd get an audience if you tried it.
Yeah.
But it's too late.
Maybe you ought to announce that Barack Obama is going to be on next week or something.
No.
Well, your date on the YouTube says 1-1 instead of 4-1. By the way,
it says 1-1.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Ooh.
Technical difficulty.
Oh, son of a bitch. Well, that's my April Fool's joke.
That's what I put in the chat. Yeah, Charlie mentioned it too.
Wait a minute. Let me see if I can change that. If I go
no,
here.
I didn't mean to distract you now.
Well, no, don't worry about it. I get distracted all the time. Well, let me see here. Here it is. Let me put it as a 4-1. See, I mean, these are things I'm doing where I'm screwing up a lot lately, and I don't like that. So anyway.
Squirrel.
Welcome to your 60s.
Discard changes. No, I don't want to discard change. Oh, I see. Save. Okay. And then I go boom, boom, boom. I go like that, and it should have changed itself, I think. Well, wait a minute. What is this? None of the, oh, I see. Okay, hold on a second, folks. I got to go to the channel content. There we go. And is the date been changed? Yeah, it's now 4-1. Okay.
No, it's changed. Yep.
So, yeah, I just did it. See how I do these things while I'm on the
magical.
air? Huh?
It's magical.
Isn't it magical? It's amazing. But anyway.
Good thing Kevin came on the show tonight, or everybody would have been confused.
How many times can I vote in your poll? I mean, do you only allow once, or can we do it like the Democrats do and vote about 16 times?
Well, yeah. How many? No, I think you only.
Should I die or something?
I think you can only vote once, but it's 94% no for me quitting, and 6% for me to quit.
I'll just sign in as my other aliases.
I'd like to know who the son of a bitch is that said I should quit. Yeah.
I think it was Phil.
Republican.
It was Phil.
Yeah. You have the wrong date for tonight's show, says Charlie. Is that our Charlie?
Yeah, I believe so.
Charlie.
He's probably on the field. He's on the field umpiring from his phone, telling you that.
Could be, but give us a call, please. So anyway, let's see here. There were not a lot of things in the news today outside of the fact that, the Ukrainians bombed a oil depot in Russia.
Good for them.
Okay,
30 miles inside of Russia.
and the Russians are saying that's unfair.
Fair.
You know.
Wake up, Putin.
It could have hurt
Start
somebody.
putting missiles on your front lawn.
Yeah. When I heard that, man, I cheered them. I just went, blow it up. Yeah.
Aren't some of our Congress people saying that they're not supposed to use those weapons to be aggressive? It's only defensive. You know?
Well, if you go after an oil depot in Russia that is right over the border from Ukraine, they're probably supplying the tanks with oil and gas and diesel and so on. And so that, so your Republican pals suck, okay?
No,
I don't know.
wasn't
The Republicans lately have been putting Putin down.
Yeah.
And not too happy with Trump's little conversations with Putin.
Well, somebody just signed in as Chris Rock. Now, who could this possibly be? Of course. I figured it
I
was
like
you,
the way
Brian.
your suntan's missing.
He looks like Chris Rock.
I don't see the slap mark.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see?
April Fools, if you didn't know.
Did you see where Will Smith has resigned from the Academy?
Yeah.
Before they kicked him
That's
out.
kind of like when people resign from the administration. They were going to get fired, but they resign. So maybe he knew it was coming, that they were going to slap sanctions on him, so he just resigned.
Yeah. Well, good. Now he should turn in his Oscar.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah. I don't agree.
maybe you could trade. Give him 2 Emmys for 1 Oscar.
He can have my Emmys, yeah. Okay. If I get to slap him in the face. Okay. And he takes it as well as Chris Rock did.
I don't think so. I think he's a thug.
Who?
Will Smith.
Well, something. Here's the thing. He was one of the most well-loved people in Hollywood. I mean, fan-wise, he had a very high, what we call Q rating. Everybody loved Will Smith. Never heard anything bad about Will Smith. A few things about his marriage and, that his wife caught him cheating and things like that.
I've come to the conclusion that he's pussy whipped and his wife is a dragon.
Oh, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yep, she's the bitch C word in the whole situation. Myself, you haven't heard a word from her.
Oh no, but she also is what we call passive aggressive. I mean,
Whatever.
Oh no, me.
But Will Smith.
Yeah.
Will Smith did what he did, and I don't think it's excusable. And you can't blame the wife or anybody else. Will Smith got up, made a choice, did what he did, smiled, sat back down, refused.
By the
No,
way-
in
by the
the
way-
other order, Phil, he smiled and laughed, and then when the wife gave him the dragon eyes, he got up and bitched and slapped, and then went back and looked at her and said, "Did I do good, huh?"
And when he came back, there was an alternative shot of that. When he came back, she was laughing.
Did you see when he was walking back from the slap, still on the stage, he was grinning?
He was strutting.
Yeah.
He was saying, "Did I do good, honey? Did I do good?"
I don't think so. I think he was happy.
I think he even did a little crotch tug, didn't he?
Yeah, and then his son got on Twitter and said, "That's how we do it," and she agreed with it.
Wait a minute. Stop it, everybody. Stop it. What are we talking about this
I know.
for?
Why are we talking about it?
Yeah,
Let's go to something else. Bullshit.
Well, because Trump didn't do anything.
Oh, yes, he did.
And that's even better. So let's move
He
on.
didn't slap anybody.
He slapped
So let's
all of
move on.
America when he asked Putin if he had anything on Joe Biden while this war is going on in Ukraine.
That was something in a conversation, but not with Putin, but in a just a general conversation.
Well, your
right?
boy looks like he's going to be in some trouble. Looks like he's going to be in some trouble.
Hey, Hillary Clinton just paid, what was it, $130,000 because of the false information, and the DNC also paid due to their procurement of the Steele dossier, the one that you really enjoyed when it came out.
I still believe he got he had hookers peeing on his bed.
No,
Yeah.
it's not that you believe it. You wish that it was
No,
true.
I think he does, because I think that's the kind of thing that Putin has on him.
Well, obviously, they discredited the Steele dossier and all the information.
Who discredited it?
The people who investigated it. I think it was Durham. And
Durham.
Why would Hillary Clinton, and the DNC? Why would Hillary Clinton and the DNC pay that fine?
The group that was impaneled. Well, I have to go look and see why.
Fusion GPS. It was the ones that.
All right, let's see what Hillary Clinton in the news today.
Yeah.
I filled up my cup because I saw Phil was on tonight.
Yeah. Get ready, everybody. Get ready. Jeff is looking for it. Do you know anything about this?
Me?
Josh? No, Josh. Josh? Do you know anything about that?
No, not a lot. I mean,
Did you know that they paid money? Who did they pay it to, Phil?
They didn't pay any money. They fined her.
They fined her.
Who fined her?
FEC, whatever the hell that stands for, fines Clinton campaign and DNC over spending on Trump.
You know what? Dossier. That's not even because of it's not because the dossier was wrong. No, it was because they were spending money on something they shouldn't have.
Right.
Because the FEC is what, the Federal Exchange Commission or whatever?
Federal Elections Commission.
Federal Elections Commission.
Right.
So, I mean, that had to do with them putting the money out for it. And it had to do with finance. It didn't have to do with the fact that it was either right or wrong.
Isn't it funny how Phil's news?
Don't think so. But I'll find the
because
real
you
news.
read everything wrong, Phil.
I'll find the real news.
You have this. You have this
nuclear, right?
You have this funny little prism you look through, in which everything is not as it is.
It's called conservatism. That's my funny prism.
No, being for Trump is not conservatism. That's stupidity.
Crazyism.
Yeah. Well, what's gas now? $6.50 a gallon.
Out in California,
what's inflation now? 8%.
Here in New York.
How's your boy doing?
Well, he's doing very well because the unemployment rate is down precipitously, and the employment rate is high. So, and the stock market is rebounding.
Stock market's near all-time highs.
Is it really? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the only thing that's
you own tech stocks.
The only problem is,
the
only problem is that we've got as a problem is the gas, which has a lot to do with the war that we're having right now, the war that's going on, and our not taking Russian oil. But more than that, I think the gas companies are currently gouging the public too. They're using this as an excuse to raise the prices. You know, and I don't think you can consider that this is the doing of Biden particularly. It's, just what's going on.
The gas companies have no problem raising the gas prices, but they have a funny problem lowering them.
Exactly.
And that for years.
Not the price of food, guys. Same thing.
And I made the point the other night on Facebook is like those trucks come like every 4 days or so, but they raise the price every single day. How do they know? They don't know what they're being charged for the next tanker, right? But they start raising the price every day.
They do. In other words, the fact that the prices went up at a certain point, they went up too early to be a reaction to what was going on. So they just raised the prices because they could and say, oh, it's the Russians, and it's not.
The gas companies don't lower prices real quick because a lot of times they bought gas at a premium a couple weeks earlier. And
I can see where they would at a certain point. Let's say it's been going up. They can't bring it down immediately because they're still paying the high price. Or they had paid the high price, and now they're unloading that gas. They got to wait for the cheap gas to come in order to unload that. That's what your problem is. But I mean,
but they keep raising it while they have their tanker already done that they're emptying, and then when that cheap one comes in, they keep raising it.
If we had
$250,000 cars complaining about gas prices.
If we had very stringent rules about gouging and tough penalties for it, you would not see this going on as much. But unfortunately, what happens is it's kind of like, how many here bought marijuana in the day? Okay, raise your hand.
I stole it from my dad.
Okay. What they used to do every year, they would say, oh, there's a drought out there. We're going to have to raise the prices on pot. Okay? And then you pay a higher price for pot. And then when the drought was over, the price didn't go down. And that's kind of a regular thing that goes on. You know, that the art of the gouger is to do exactly that. To say there's a paucity of something like gas can't deliver the food with the trucks, and but us not having enough gas is behind. You get what I'm saying? It's not. As soon as they stop buying gas from the Russians, we shouldn't see less gas here immediately, but we see the prices go up immediately, and that's gouging. You know. Yes, Jack.
You know, one of the things we Americans don't understand about the oil industry, and the only reason I know about it is I'm here in Texas, and my family has been selling oil for 75, 80 years to one of the oil companies, and I used to get a little check from that, is that at any given time, there are 20 or more super tankers on the ocean waiting to see what the spot price of oil goes up or down to.
And they just sit out there and wait.
They sit out there and wait because it's casino capitalism. That's what Phil is for. He's for making a bet and having it pay off.
Oh, gambling.
Or gambling, yeah.
Anybody that's ever bought stocks.
Yes. And most of us in America don't own that much stock.
And then it comes in and gets production price.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty. So I mean, to sit here and to blame Biden for it. I mean, it is going to hurt the Democrats in November. There's no question about it.
It's going to hurt the Democrats if the Democrats don't drive home who gave us this nonsense.
No, but no matter how much they yell and scream at Jack, that the people in the middle are not going to listen to it. When they go to a store and all of a sudden avocados are $5 for two instead of $4 for two, as soon as they start seeing things like that, they just go, it's the president's fault. They don't logically say, hey, it's not his.
Hey, but
doing.
Alex, you remember that old song that our folks used to sing about the rich get rich and the poor get poorer.
Mm-hmm.
Now
what was the song?
Yeah, Ain't We Got Fun is what the title is.
Yeah.
And the thing is, folks today, we've had too many years of good times in this country.
How many? Too many years of good times? Are you kidding me? Come on, I can't remember.
Under Trump.
Wait a minute, I can't remember a period of time in my lifetime where there hasn't been one tragedy after another financially.
I didn't say
country.
there were no tragedies. But economically speaking, we came out of World War II as the only nation in the industrialized West that had not had devastating things happen to its infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
That's what grew the American middle class, was World War II and the post-war era. We went from, the time that I was born until maybe the mid 70s, with a couple of economic blips, a couple of recessions, no depression, and we got used to, if things not getting great, at least staying the same or maybe getting fractionally better for the working class.
Let me ask Josh here. Josh, how do you feel about the cost of things today and why it is?
Well, I mean, I think there's a general, series of inflation going on. I mean, I see gas as a little bit separate. I mean, I think gas is mostly price driven by by scam more than it is by supply versus demand. I mean, I think gas is unusually inflated most of the time based on any sort of excuse that can be come up with. I mean, gas is just a greed organization to me, but the overall economy, is just going through a natural cycle of some inflation and, some certain other things based on our, current circumstances and some things that we've been through the last couple of years as a country. And I don't think it's out of control or anything. It's certainly not anywhere, nearly as bad as certain other eras. I mean, it's just something that's there. But I think the good news in most cases, as opposed to other times maybe, is economically we're doing well enough, and the labor market has been in a certain degree that a lot of employers have been able to raise wages to help keep up with some of that. I mean, I know of a lot of companies that did so. I'm not saying everybody did, so I'm sure you have people listening that, say, shit, I didn't get a raise. But a lot of your large corporations and stock market companies and stuff like that gave out general raises, even in the middle of the year, not even at their normal time or whatever, because they saw that the job market was such that if they didn't, people could leave and, easily find another job that was just as competitive or even paid more than theirs. So I don't think economically anything really has gotten out of control.
Phil had his hand up there. Phil?
I've kind of figured that this is a perfect storm, what's happening now, because the reason that I can't hire anybody is that all my baby boomer salespeople retired. And you know what? I think that that's what's happening across the nation. Because of COVID, people realize that there are alternative jobs. They change their attitudes about why they work and what's important to them. And then when you have all the baby boomers retiring at this point, there's a shortage of workers, and people in the new generations, the younger generations, don't want the traditional way of working. They're happy with the gig economy. They're happy living in their parents' basement, and that's why we're having this job shortage, this employee shortage.
But wait a minute, but you went from one topic to another topic.
No, I was talking about what Josh was talking about. He said that there were, the people they not getting hired in the workforce. Josh, exactly what did you say that made me comment on that?
Well, I mean, people are getting hired. I mean, that jobs are available. They're just not. I'm just saying employers were sort of forced to raise wages for the first time in a long time because the demand for employers was there, but they were not able to keep up with demand for basically two reasons. One, because the supply chain was having issues, and two, because they themselves could not fulfill their needed headcounts. And that was also adding problems for the supply chain because downstream, those people couldn't find workers in a lot of cases either. So a lot of them were forced to raise wages because you could quit your job and go somewhere else and get one that paid more.
But let me say this, that part of the problem you have now is that it's harder for people like Phil to find employees because a lot of people are sick and tired of working for somebody. And so if they would, wait, let me finish, Tony, please. And what people have a tendency to do now is they're trying to make their own way in this world without having to have an employer. And they're doing things like it, whether you do a podcast or you do some kind of SD merchandising or any stuff like that. That's the reason why you haven't got as many people looking for jobs as were looking for jobs before.
I say, screw it. I got Tupperware. Look what I paid on Wednesday for gas. 16 and a half gallons.
Yeah, and how much?
$100.
How much was it per gallon?
$6, $5.99 or $6.
That's because you live in California. Here in New York, it's about $4.43. I heard. So
yeah,
you know.
Look, I've never I've had that car 11 years. I've never had to put $100 worth of gas in it at one time. You know.
If you look at gas prices here where I'm at, we're around $3.89, $3.90 on the high end. But one of the things I want to point out, and about this question of people and jobs, with those of us who are, quote, baby boomers, unquote, retiring, we were the largest demographic bulge of the century. And there are fewer in the X gen and the next gen or whatever they're calling themselves. There are fewer people, so therefore there are fewer people to take jobs. You know, when I was born and when Alex was born, you know, it was kind of unusual for people to have less than 2 kids per family.
Well, wait a minute.
3, yeah.
Let's pause here for Phil to make a joke about my age. Go ahead, Phil.
Well, yeah, okay. I was just going to tell Ray that his green screen. There you go. Thank you. All right. You know, hey, I'm catching up to you. I better stop making jokes.
You can't catch up to me. You know, there's no way. You're still always going to be the same distance behind me.
Well, maybe.
You're how old now?
I'll be 68 in June.
68.
Oh, youngster.
Okay.
A kid.
So you're 14 years younger than I am.
Right now.
Yeah.
Don't you stop aging at a certain point?
No. Believe me, you don't.
No, when they put you in the box and throw the dirt on top of you?
Well, then
you're probably going to outlive me.
Your fingernails keep growing. Yes, Brian.
As a person who's hiring a couple hundred people at a time right now in Lodi, we're having no problems.
Yeah, in Lodi, nobody's employed in Lodi. You know.
It's Lodi. We get people from Elk Grove, from all that area there, all the way down to Stockton.
Central Valley.
What do you attribute to that? What kind of package do you offer these people that are attracting hundreds of people that should be coming to my store but are going to your place?
I don't know. We labeled that as a risk when we were going through all of our exercises for that factory, because we didn't know what we would see, and we're just getting tons of people still looking.
But let me just say, by the way, Phil, that if they had a difference between working for you or working for Brian, I think you're taking a walk. Okay.
I don't know. I provide massages.
Well,
big trouble.
But you also, as you wrote me, you can actually have a pretty big business selling carpet for the sides of tanks. Russian tanks.
Oh, yeah.
Carpet bagging.
That was very cute.
It seems that for camouflage, they're using carpeting on the side of.
It said Russian tanks are using carpet and twigs as camouflage.
Yeah.
So I said, it looks like the carpet business is thriving in the Ukraine.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, Jack.
Yeah, I want to point out something when we start talking about the prices of gasoline. Most years, if you compare the price of a gallon of gasoline to a gallon of milk, milk is more expensive.
And your point is, try putting milk in your gas tank.
And I don't drink 10 gallons of milk a day.
Yeah.
What do you pay? What do you pay for decent bottled water?
Well, you can get cheap water. You
can get cheap water, but bottled water is, I believe, more expensive than gasoline.
Yeah, and why do we need that?
This is about $1, I think.
The water that comes out of my tap is pretty damn good, and I like it.
You don't live in Walnut Creek or Concord.
By the way, Tony, did you have your hand up earlier?
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say though.
Tony, you're probably going to say that you don't want to go back to work either, and you're going to do your own thing.
I think I wouldn't mind working for somebody else, but you know what? It'd have to be something. It'd have to be part time. I don't mean this condescending. And you know what? I wouldn't want to be tied to somebody unless I really needed the money. Yeah. And I think people don't want to stay in jobs anymore. These younger kids, if I'm guessing, is if they don't feel there's any growth.
By the way, did your uncle find anybody to replace you in your wonderful job of making?
No, they can't. I went down to visit.
Tell them what you used to do. Tell them what you used to do. This is the kind of job that if any of you had it, you would go nuts. Okay.
I did go crazy. I didn't mind the work.
Believe me, you were crazy before that. But what was the job exactly?
Actually, I just pulled hats and caps all day and listened to show tunes and made hat boxes.
I
had a good memory, so I can memorize things pretty good. I knew but that's why he liked me.
And Tony, you used to change the labels. If you didn't have large, you took a medium and you put a large label.
The other ones didn't fake them and they throw it in the box and I wanted to get out of there.
Yeah.
That's called fraud.
It is.
So, by the way, Congress is currently about to pass a bill legalizing marijuana federally.
What do you think of that? I can't believe it.
Up to Disneyland.
I think it's terrific because the fact is, as long as the federal government continues to make it illegal, banks cannot deal with these dispensaries.
Federal banks.
Oh, really?
Federal banks, I think.
Federally insured banks.
Federally insured banks, which could be local banks. But, so they've had to go to credit unions to stuff their money and a lot of other places. It's been a real problem. And the government, part of the bill is that, number one, they will legalize marijuana, won't make it illegal anymore. And secondly, they are going to forgive all the convictions for marijuana sales over the years. Okay, and what they will do is if you were found guilty of selling marijuana, they will allow the federal government to finance your organization. In other words, if you want to open up a store, the government will help finance it.
Oh shit! So if you sold pot, you could open up a store now.
Yes, absolutely. And the last part of that is they want 5% tax on marijuana.
Yeah, but they want 6% tax on food. But you know what they were saying was, if you were busted for marijuana, that they'll give you priority over opening up a store.
No, that's here in New York.
Oh,
that's here in New York.
Yeah.
Federally, I don't think that's the deal. But what they will do is help finance your endeavor. Okay.
Yeah, there was another thing that came up today, and you guys probably didn't catch this, but a bill was introduced today to Congress to cap the price of insulin at $25. You know, for those of us that have had to use insulin, like my copay every month is $240, $250.
Well, just be honest, Jack.
Yes.
I mean, you just like shooting up.
Well, it does come in handy. Does keep my street cred good.
Yeah. But anyway, so it's it'll be good if the federal government just gets this off the books altogether. So.
Well, it didn't go on the books until the mid-30s?
It was the Marijuana Stamp Tax Act of 1934, I think it was. 37. And what it was, it didn't make marijuana illegal. It made it illegal for you to sell it without buying a marijuana stamp. And a marijuana stamp was so prohibitively priced that nobody was going to pay that money. So whenever they got busted on a tax charge. This was federally. Locally, different laws applied. But federally, if you got busted with marijuana and you didn't have a stamp, you were thrown in jail for a long time for that.
Was it the book 1984 that they said, the people wanted this stuff called Soma. And and I thought Soma might have been Starbucks, people waiting in line saying, give me 2 shots and double pump.
No. Wasn't that Brave New World?
That was Brave New World.
Oh, Brave New World. I knew it was one of them. That's why I asked. But the maybe this marijuana thing.
No, you didn't know it was one of them because you said 1984.
Oh, you read both those books in high school around the same time.
Well, there was one other he wrote too called Ape in Essence, which was very good, very good.
So anyway, what the situation is maybe this marijuana stuff and how it's going nationally. It's the new Soma. And all of those things are coming true. Brave New World, yeah.
What? Starbucks is Soma? Are you out of your mind?
Starbucks I thought was Soma, but truly it's going to be national marijuana.
No. Soma. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Soma was created for fictional purposes by Aldous Huxley, who had been experimenting with things like mushrooms and so on, and in fact, I think was in on some of the early tests on LSD.
But the people were lining up for this stuff.
Yeah, but it was a
just
hallucinogen.
Like they do at the marijuana store. They wait online. And the government during COVID, marijuana stores were allowed to stay open, but carpet stores, no. That was a real COVID.
Maybe you got a big store, Phil. Maybe you ought to sell marijuana in the corner of it.
How do you know I'm not?
Get him high and then get him into the rug store to get him some rugs. Price something.
I always thought we'd never decriminalize or legalize marijuana because we like our drugs to make us outgoing. And I don't know about anybody else here on the panel, but back when I smoked marijuana, I wanted to go over in the corner and get small.
Yeah. No, I always withdrew.
I was a quiet drunk too.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is that I always tell the story about years ago. My friend and I, PJ O'Rourke, were at my apartment, and we were sitting on I remember we were sitting on the rug. Again, I was against a beanbag chair, and he was leaning up against a couch, and we were passing a joint back and forth. And he said, "Someday, this is going to be illegal." And and I
had one of those.
We thought it would be closer than it was. I mean, let's face it. I mean, PJ didn't live long enough to see it federally legalized. So I mean,
what was the name of that a group that was trying to legalize marijuana in the 70s? They
Normal. The Symbionese Liberation
Army. I was involved with Normal in the very beginning. And what I did was a friend of mine had found an old film lying around called Reefer Madness, and Normal. He gave it to Normal, and Normal used it to promote Normal and to raise money for Normal by showing it at theaters. It became a very big midnight movie picture that people love to see because even to this day it's a totally laughable film. But we were involved in getting that thing going and promoting it and so on and so forth. So I was there at the very beginning of Normal. Keith Schropp, I think, was the guy's name, who was the head of Normal at the time. Yeah. Anyway, you had your hand up, Alan. Did you have your hand up?
No, my camera keeps going out of focus, and so I was playing.
Oh, I see. Okay.
There's your microphone.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's wonderful that we've gotten to the point, but all these things are happening too late in my life. I mean, we're going to go to Mars. Well, I wanted us to go to Mars 30 years ago so I could see it.
Once you've seen the moon, there's no need to go to Mars.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to live long enough for us to land on the moon. We better do it by 2024, like they say. What?
We're getting pictures from the Mars rover. I mean, this is pretty amazing stuff that we're able to get. We don't have to necessarily.
We don't forget pictures. Go there and be able to shoot them with your iPhone. Okay.
Yeah, really.
I mean,
The trouble is Martians look like Trump.
what's the temperature?
Except they're green instead of orange.
What's the temperature on Mars?
It varies a lot.
It's pretty. I don't think it's warm at all. I think it's pretty cold because there's
there
no
are places
atmosphere.
We
There-
couldn't
There are places
exist
where it's
without
like-
some
Sorry.
sort of a housing, right?
What?
No matter how cold Mars is, it's still going to be warmer than San Francisco on a summer's night.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what was it? Somebody once said the coldest night I've ever experienced was summer in San Francisco.
Mark Twain said the coldest
day
I've ever had. The coldest winter.
We'll get
I
this
ever
down
had,
eventually,
Summer in
folks.
San Francisco.
Yeah, summer in San Francisco.
Yeah.
It was a song, wasn't it?
What? I left my balls in San Francisco.
No. Was it the Jefferson Starship or
In
something?
San
Airplane?
Francisco.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
The coldest day I ever had was a summer in San Francisco.
Well, you're ad-libbing there, Ray.
Doing all right.
He's doing
Yeah, but
okay.
he's going to get him delisted.
Oh, sorry.
No, you know.
Quick story. I took my wife to San Francisco for the first time about a year after we got married.
Yeah.
I kept telling her, we were going in August, and I kept telling her, pack a coat. She didn't believe me. We got off the plane. We left Dallas when it was going to be a high of 102. We got off the plane 5 hours later in San Francisco. It had already reached the high of the day of 63. And she said, I don't have a coat. I said, I kept telling you to pack a coat. She said, I saw all those movies with Frankie and Annette in California. Who needs a coat
That's
here?
Southern California.
That's Southern.
That's right.
That's what
It's the
I
other
said.
Cal.
Well, it's
Northern-
anywhere out of San Francisco.
Well,
It's going to be 90 here and 40 in San Francisco.
We will soon see what politics has settled down to. Sarah Palin is going to run for the vacated House seat.
Oh, God.
By the way, you're overmodulating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alan, your microphone is.
I don't know what's going on.
Alan,
is way
just
too high.
click the. You have automatic mic clicked most likely
Fix
in your settings.
corner.
Just unclick it.
Yeah. Anyway.
I have to do that with mine.
Yeah, you know what I miss most about San Francisco? I miss the fog.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And the foghorns.
There is nothing. One night I went back to California and I was there with a girlfriend or something. I can't remember who I took out there. And we were walking through the North Beach and the fog rolled in.
Yeah.
And I said, is there anything more romantic than this? You know, it was just such a wonderful feeling, you know.
And that air is so great to breathe.
It's,
Really, it's so
breathing
clean.
it is just incredible.
I love it.
And
the
it
wind
was-
blows all the crap out of the air from the bay. The bay. The wind comes in through the Golden Gate and it clears the air, and gives you very clean air.
What we did have when I was a kid, and when I was a teenager, and Jack probably remembers this.
Covered wagons.
No, we had real foghorns.
Yeah.
And the foghorns would almost talk to each other. You'd hear one over here, meow, and then another one would go, meow.
I remember that.
And they were different sounding foghorns. And
Do you
eventually,
remember we had-
they decided they didn't need them anymore because all the ships had radar and didn't need foghorns to keep them from crashing into the rocks.
No,
so
they put
wait a
in,
minute, let me
like,
finish.
digital-
So they turned them all off. And San Franciscans got so mad about that, they wound up on these rocks putting a big thing with a sound effect of a foghorn.
Oh, that's
So-
what that was.
Yeah, they were not real foghorns. The
I
reason
always
you
thought
could
it was
tell the
real.
difference is they were all the same pitch and same sound.
That's true, they were.
Do you remember when we actually had ferry boats in San Francisco?
Yes.
Yeah.
They still do. I know people who commute on the ferry.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought they'd gotten rid
What
of them.
ferry?
There's people
They're
who
actually
commute.
adding some now. Oh,
Yeah.
they're going to be adding some.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's getting more popular. A lot of people from Marin going on the ferry.
What happened is if you came from, say, New York and you came to San Francisco, you got off in Oakland, was where the furthest the trains would come, and then you had to take a what do you call it, a ferry across the bay, and you would wind up at the ferry building in San Francisco. And that was as far as you could come directly. Now I think the trains come all the way around and everything like that. But
Phil, that's the U.S. Mint, not the Ferry Building.
No, that's San Quentin.
No, wait a minute. Is that San
No,
Quentin?
Yeah,
Don't you have an inside view?
Oh yeah, right.
In your cell?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's San Quentin.
My father used to swim around that.
Really?
Yeah, swim around it. Yeah. When he was younger.
So did Jack LaLanne.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's Adrian. Bye, Adrian.
Oh no, come say hi. Hey, how you doing? I like her blonde hair.
She just said, "Why does this say Chris Rock?"
What was she pointing out?
She said, "Why does it say Chris Rock?"
Oh,
she
your
was
name.
on her computer and saw it.
They're horseplay. They're messing around at school today. They're tickling each other, and she hit her head on the table. So her head. She is
okay.
Really?
Yeah, she's just
This is
get her checked out.
She gets a little scratch, and she wants a Band-Aid. Oh my gosh, she's so.
And ice cream.
You're gonna get hurt much more than that one day.
She's got.
Oh, look, she's gonna draw it.
Dance picture, very nice.
She makes this on here, and then she'll draw it. So she creates this on here on an app, and then she'll draw it. So
Very smart.
Okay. Okay. Bye bye. It's mixed match day, so she has different socks on and different color stuff.
Is she at that age where she's good company for you?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that'll disappear. Don't worry. That'll go away.
You know why I wear black T-shirts, black underwear, black socks, black pants? Because I never have to worry about. I don't have to worry about mismatching. I get up at 4 a.m. I just grab stuff, and it doesn't matter. It all goes together.
No, you think you're Rachel Maddow.
Then it would be leather pants. Leather pants.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's been kind of a light week this week. Nobody's going crazy on anything in particular. Looks like Josh. Looks like we're going to get a new Supreme Court justice. It looks like she's going to be affirmed.
Good.
I can't imagine she won't be. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think she's going to be okay. I like her. I like the way she comported herself with those assholes. They were asking her some of the most stupid questions I've ever heard.
Oh, they were Republicans.
Yes.
No, don't say that. There are people. One of my closest friends that we have around here, he isn't here very often, but I talk to him at least once a week, is Patrick Blazek, and he's a Republican. And he's a conservative.
Oh, Patrick is a conservative. He's not really the current generation of Republican.
But I mean, to say that about Republicans,
lump everybody.
There are going to be Republicans now, like Susan Collins, who are not, just traveling with the crowd. So I mean,
Collins is voting for the Supreme Court nominee.
Right. Lindsey Graham, who voted for her as a appellate judge, won't vote for her. Why? If you voted for her once before, I don't think she's changed much.
I kind of like Donald Trump. He gave money to Biden, not Biden, but Obama and Hillary, and then turned into their enemy.
Yeah. Well, business people do usually give to both parties, by the way.
Absolutely.
They hedge their bets that way.
Absolutely.
And, but Disney ain't going to give money to the Florida governor, however.
Oh, they're threatening to sue Disney over this.
They want to make Disney pay more for to not be an independent kind of municipality unto itself. And yet they have their own fire department, they have their own police departments, all of that. And they'd
Alex,
be happy to keep it that way. Yeah.
What was the count and the amount on your survey?
85% said no, I shouldn't quit. That I'm not that dissipated and falling apart. Anyway, we just lost Jack, and we lost who else? We lost one other person. I can't.
Well, Jack has to do his thing.
Yeah, right. But anyway, thanks to Kevin. I appreciate it, Kevin. Always appreciate it. Jeff, thank you very much. Jazzy Jeff. Love the Fresh Prince. Alan, thank you. Thank you, Josh. Hopefully you'll see you later this weekend. Also, thank you, Phil. Always nice to have you here. I love abusing you. Brian, thank you for being here. Hey, oh boy, I'm just out of it now. Tony, thank you. And Ray, thank you. All of you, give a big wave goodbye. I'll give a big wave goodbye at you, okay? There they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our citizen panel. I'm waving, I'm dissolving to me, okay? Now they're going away. Thanks to all of them for being here. And we'll hopefully see them again really soon. And we'll see you really soon. Like next Monday, we're back here at 4 o'clock Eastern on Facebook with our pop-up show. And then we'll be back here again next Wednesday at 10:30 Eastern Time for more of the Ramble. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody. Have a nice weekend.